Hello, and thank you for joining us for our virtual subject evening. My name's Amy Smith, and I'm the marketing manager at East Coast College. Just to make you aware, we are recording this session so that it can be shown to other students who are not attending this evening, but none of your details will be able to be seen on the recording. So in this session, we are going to be covering our foundation learning courses, and we've got with us some of our tutors who are going to explain to you a bit about the courses, the types of things you will do while you're with us at college, and the support that we will offer you as well. So I'm going to hand over to our curriculum manager for foundation learning, Lee, who is going to start the presentation. So over to you, Lee.
Hello, good afternoon. So I'm Lee Robinson and I manage foundation and progression at East Coast College. And to my right is Sam, who is our foundation coordinator, and she looks after all of the support within the department. And as we go through today, we'll just explain what that looks like in a bit more detail. So what is foundation and progression, foundation learning? So it's typically foundation learning provision, students that have got specific learning difficulties or disabilities, and also for students that maybe haven't achieved their best yet and need more of a supported and personalised provision to help them achieve their best before they move into mainstream college.
So what a foundation and progression student would be like. So they would possibly be someone who would need additional support. So maybe one-to-one in the classroom or shared support, or someone who just would struggle with their learning. So my job is to provide that support in the class for you, to make sure that you feel comfortable and supported in everyday life for you.
Okay, so what will a foundation and progression student study? So we have a very similar offer on both campuses, so both our Great Yarmouth campus and our Lowestoft campus. All students will have to study Maths and English. Maths and English will vary depending on the course that each student does. So some students might do GCSEs, some students might do functional skills in Maths and English, and some students will work towards a college certificate. So that's not a formal qualification. They will still undertake formal learning in Maths and English, but we will tailor it much more to the individual need. We might use more projects and practical learning rather than formal GCSE and functional skills. All students will access a tutorial session each week. So that is typically like a PSHE kind of subject that you might experience at school currently. And it's just a session a week where we can talk about topics that are very relevant to students who are moving into adulthood. So it might be talking about relationships, drug and alcohol awareness, being safe online, that kind of thing. And then also students will have access to core subjects. So that will be subjects ranging from life skills, personal social development, confidence building, teamwork. There'll be employability and work experience. There'll also be vocational tasters for some of our courses where they'll be able to, students will be able to go off and have sessions in construction, hospitality and catering, and also media and IT. Also, students will take part in practical projects. So that might be enterprise projects where they sell things and make them and sell them. There might be other sort of project learning like some gardening, and other projects that basically get a student out of a typical classroom, get them up and about and practically learning. So we've been talking about courses generally. So for foundation, we have lots of different courses. You'll see those on the screen, lots of different names. And I think what we're encouraging at the moment is to actually look at individual students, look at their needs, and then we will support you in finding the right course for a student to actually do. So we'll come on to that in a very short while.
So what kind of support do we offer you? So we offer in-class support. So that means that someone in the classroom is there to help you with your academic work, keeping you on track and making sure that you know what is required of you. Discrete support. So that is a co-educator in the class that can help you when you need them to. We can help with personal care, from toileting to helping to feed students at break times and lunch times, medical support. So if you need to bring any medication into the department, then we can supervise you taking that independently, or we can administer that for you. We support students with visual and hearing impairments. We have some specialist co-ed support in place for those type of students that need that support. We meet students in the morning from their transport. We support students over break times, lunch times and unstructured times. And at the end of the day, we make sure that you get into your transport and home safely. That's all types of support we offer.
So where Foundation and Progression are within the college, at our Great Yarmouth campus, we're based on the ground floor and the first floor of one of the main buildings in college. So we right next to childcare and also some of the sports facilities. And at Lowestoft campus, we are on the second floor in the tower. So the main tower building, we're on the second floor in between IT, childcare and maths and English. So for both of our campuses, we are in the centre and the heart of the college. We're not in an area that's away from the main campus. We are an integral part of the college provision. So I think that's important to highlight. We also have lots of classrooms that are available to our students that are quite flexible. So some will have computers in, some won't. Basically, there's flexibility so we can move the room around, not lots of fixed furnishings and stuff like that. We also have access to the wider college. So when we need to go and use sports facilities, construction, catering, we can access the wider college for their, for resources as well. So students are able to access most areas within the college. And then within our own department and within our own area, we do have specialist areas as well. So accessible toilets, rooms that have got hoists in. We will be having a quiet room and a medical room on each campus for September. So we can really have sort of areas that are dedicated to meeting the needs of our students.
So how long will Foundation and Progression students stay in the department? Well, it could range from 1 year to 2 to 3 to 4. We look at progression every year, and hopefully we make that smooth transition into the next course. When a student's ready to leave into the wider college, then we support students with that transition. We support students into the wider community if that's where they want to go. We support students in work experience placements. And we have an EHCP coordinator who undertakes all of the paperwork for that. And we have a department in the college for information and guidance, and they help to explore options for you outside of the college throughout the year. Okay,
so basically, as Sam's briefly touched on, most of our students in Foundation Learning will have an EHCP. And that really is an integral starting point for us making sure that the course that the student comes on is going to be right for them to meet their outcomes that are on the EHCP. So although we've not focused on course names today, that is a critical part of the transition into Foundation and Progression to make sure we get you on the right course. So your journey with us is going to be the best it can be. So you make the progress and you get to where you need to be, which will hopefully be, like Sam said, employment, the wider college, or some kind of community-based provision. Our typical size groups in Foundation and Progression are between 4 and 12. So our smallest group in September is 4, and our biggest group will be around 12. So again, depending on the need of our students, we'll then look at what kind of size group is appropriate. We don't always place our students based on academic level. It is very much about holistic need of the student. So, is the social and, development more an integral part of why they need to come to college first, and then we can look at the academic side alongside of that. So please, when you're looking at courses, don't always think that we'll stream our students based on an academic level. We do have students varying in academic range abilities in the same lesson, and our staff will differentiate and adapt the lesson accordingly. Each course will have a base room, so a room that you will go to at the start of the day and likely where you'll end the day. And that should be the same room for the majority of the days that you're in college. You'll be in college for 3 days a week, and your college day is 9 o'clock until 4:30, till 4 o'clock. So 9 till 4, you have an hour for lunch, and you have a 15-minute break in the morning and a 15-minute break in the afternoon. Your base room, like I said, is where you will spend a large part of your studies while you're with us. But like I already explained, you will go off and access the wider college. So when you do that, you'll go and access the gym or the sports hall or catering, and then likely is that you'll come back to the lesson or your normal base room to end the day. You might have a debrief, you might have a discussion. Odd occasions you might leave from the room that you're in if that's appropriate, but you'll have a base room and you will take ownership of that. You'll make it look nice, you'll make it personalized, and that's where you'll leave all of your items for the day. And like Sam's already said, you know, there is lots of support available. So at break times, lunch times, end of the day, there will be people around, if appropriate, to support you. If you are more independent, and obviously there'll be less support available for you. We don't want to over support you. As a department, we are big on promoting independence. We want our students to become independent in a way that is appropriate to them. So obviously we want to step back at some point and allow our students to flourish and learn, really. So that's predominantly our foundation and progression department. We're obviously keen to speak to families, parents, carers about students that are looking at coming to foundation and progression. We do work really heavily with all of our feeder schools. So if you have your child is currently in a school and you're thinking of maybe foundation and progression as a route, then we would clearly want to link up with your current school. So what we'd really recommend is that we speak to you directly at this point in the year. We're rapidly coming to the end of the summer term, so we would want to make sure that we speak to you as quick as possible. We'd want to make sure that we talk through our courses and speak about the ones that are most suited to your young person. Once we then know the most appropriate course for your young person, we can then look at you coming in for a very informal interview where we can just talk about support needs. You're likely to meet Sam and maybe one of the tutors to talk through that a little bit more. And then, like I said, we'll speak to your current provider. If you're a young person that's not in education at the moment, then we'll obviously speak to you and any other professionals that are involved supporting you at the moment. And then what we'd like to do is come out, if at all possible, to see you at school, if that's where you're at the moment, or speak to other professionals about your needs, so we can really get a good idea of where we need to support you, how we need to support you, so you are successful. And then what will then happen is once you've gone through all of that and we're happy we're the right college for you and you're happy we're the right college for you, then we will look at some transition days where you can come into college before September and just get a really good flavour and handle about what the college is all about. We can do a tour, we can do some transition days. We have some penciled in for July so far, but we can talk about that as we get to know you a little bit more. What we like in foundation is we try and make everything really personalised. So we'll do step by step, talk together through everything and make sure that everything's in place to move forward with your application if that's what you choose to do. The main thing is we want to get you onto the right course, get you so you're in a position to be successful and get you prepared for September. So then when you join, you can go full steam ahead and really enjoy your time with us. So that's sort of the overall picture of foundation and progression. Thank you for listening for 15 minutes or so. I guess now I'll throw back to Amy to then let us know if there's any questions that have come through so far. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Lee and Sam. That was really helpful, a really great overview there of everything that we offer at the college. So you will see on your screen, there's a little box that says Q&A with some little speech bubbles in. If you'd like to ask us a question, then please feel free to type it into that box and then I will read them out and Sam and Lee will answer those live for you. So we've got one already just to get us started. So I think you touched on this slightly, Lee, but I don't know if you want to just run over it again. Somebody's asked, will I be able to meet my tutor before September so I know who I'm going to be with when I start college?
Yes, very much so. So once we've spoken together about the most suited course for the young person, then you will straight away meet that tutor when you come in for your very informal interview, which is just really like a bit of a chat. So you'll meet your tutor straight away for the interview. And then when you come in for a tour and transition days, if that's what you would like to access, then they'll also be led by Sam and myself, and also your tutor for September. So you will have a good few opportunities, maybe 2 or 3, to meet your tutor and other key staff that will be supporting you from September when you join.
Great, thank you. Another question here, and I think it was you, Sam, that mentioned this. Can you give some examples of some places that students have done work experience opportunities in the past? So where might some of our students end up doing their work experience?
So we've had Pathways Care Farm in Lowestoft. We've had care homes in Lowestoft also. We've had the King's Centre in Great Yarmouth. So we've had students work in a cafe. We've got a coffee pod here at college. So it's got a barista machine. So we've had students working in there also. Where else have we had? We've had charity shops. So lots of different places. We do encourage students to give us an idea of where they would like to, and we help them with their application, or for them to go in and we can meet, and hopefully that'll be a positive experience for them.
Perfect. Yeah, and how long is usually spent in those placements, Sam?
Possibly a day a week. We've had one student work in Margot's cafe in Galston, so he did 9 till 12, so that was half a day a week, and then he would come back and fill out a work experience booklet of jobs and skills that he'd learned that day, which are transferable skills. So we encourage the student to give us an idea of where they would like their work experience to be, and we help them with anything that they need to apply there.
Great.
As well, Amy, just on that. So as we talked about a journey earlier on, so as a student spends longer with us, so first year, second year, third year, as they progress through the department, their likelihood of accessing work experience will increase. So we have a project up at the James Paget Hospital called Project Search. That is a sort of course that's really the step out of college. So there, students would spend time upon work experience up at the James Paget. One of our progression courses has an employability arm, which is all around work experience. So some of our third and fourth year courses will naturally have more time focused on work experience. Some of our first year courses might do some internal work experience, and as they go through, we'll then look at external work experience. So hopefully come September, when COVID has allowed us to do a little bit more externally, we're really going to be looking at pushing that forward to give students that opportunity to do more external work experience as well.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great. Thank you. We've had another one here. Somebody said, I've had my interview. When will I get the chance to meet you, Sam? So without saying it, sort of revealing any names or things, I don't know when likely you think you might first meet students, and perhaps I can ask this person to get in touch directly with an email, so we can have that conversation with them.
Yeah, I would definitely do that. So send me an email with your name, and then we will set that up. Sorry, was the question me going out to school to visit, or the student coming in?
They've just said, when will I get to meet you, Sam? I have had my interview.
And with that, what we're doing, we have started transition. So some of our special need feeder schools, we've already had those in to visit already. We've been out to school to visit them, to do some assessments and look at some of the support that's in place in school. If you've not yet come in, and I'll definitely recommend getting in touch, because we are, like I said, inviting all of our students into our transition week in July. But if you feel you'd like to come in before that and have a little look around college, meet Sam, meet anybody, meet your tutor, then we can do that. And the best thing to do is to get us in touch with us and let us know who you are, that we can look at what course you're going on and then make sure that's possible. And that's something we would offer to all of the students in foundation. We offer a certain amount of transition, but some of our students need more, and therefore we can be flexible and offer more transition, so you feel like you're really prepared and ready for September.
Yeah, absolutely. And the person that put that question in, if you'd like to or submit another question in the Q&A box with your email address, don't worry, no one else will be able to see it. It's just me that can see it. I can make a note of that now, and then I can pass that on to Sam, and she can get in touch with you. So if you want to send that through, that's great. If not, you can get in touch with us. Sam, I don't know, is there a general email, or is it best to come to you directly?
Yeah, well, come to me directly.
And what is that email address, just so that everybody's got it?
So it's s.richardson@eastcoast.ac.uk. I can't put it in the chat, can I, Amy?
No, they won't be able to see it. That's okay. They've replied now and given me their email. So what I'll do is I'll write that down and I'll pass that on to Sam. But if anybody else needs the address, then Sam said it there. And there's another email address coming up on a slide shortly, which will also be able to be passed on to Sam as well. So we can come to that. I think just the final question we've had, and again, I think you did touch on it, Lee, but might be worth just explaining a little more. Somebody's asked, what other facilities will I use at the college? So I think you did mention some of them, but I don't know whether you can explain the types of things that they'll do in those areas.
Yep. So the facilities we've got that we've been using at the moment, and again, this will vary depending on the students that we get through. So we have access to IT, PC kind of maintenance, the digital side of things that are, so we do some programming, we do some editing, we do some photographs, we do some videoing. So lots of things around technology and IT. We have access to the wider catering kitchens, and one of our kitchens has talking microwaves, height adjustable workbenches, lots of adaptations to cater for all of the level of needs that our students will have. So you will be able to have access to a working kitchen. We have access to workshops and sort of construction areas. So that might be inside, it might be outside, that you'll be able to do some woodwork and some other kind of construction related activities. We have a polytunnel where you'll be able to access gardening, growing plants, growing vegetables, caring for them, nurturing them, growing them, and then hopefully cooking and eating them at some point, and maybe even selling them on. So you have access to those. We've got a sports hall and we have a gym. So both of those, again, you'll have access to. And there is also places to buy food at lunch times. So there's eating facilities, so cafes where you can either buy your lunch or you can eat your packed lunch in there. So at the moment that is slightly restricted because of the COVID guidance, but hopefully come September there'll be more places for you to eat inside where you can eat with friends and peers on courses. And also then we have sort of dance studios and theatres as well that we can access if need be, and also hairdressing and animal care. But like I said, we tailor those really by the needs of the students. So this year, for example, we haven't had many students that are interested in those areas. It's been much more around sport, fitness, IT, construction, and gardening has been quite popular this year. So students coming through, we will adapt things. We've got a really flexible and personalised curriculum, so we can inject things depending on the level and need of students coming through. So lots of access. And I would encourage you, if you've not had a tour with us, book in, contact Sam and say, look, I'd like to come and have a look around, and we'll show you those areas. It's much better for you to see those than listening to me go on about them for too long. So would really encourage you to get in touch with us, come in. We can now do some COVID safe tours and stuff like that. So please do get in touch, and I'd love to sort of show you around and go from there.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our session. So once again, thank you for joining us. You will see on the screen at the moment details of our website. So that's www.eastcoast.ac.uk. If you'd like to take a look, you can find the foundation course pages on there, and you can also take a look at some of the other things that we do across the college. You can look at our wellbeing pages. We've got some virtual tours. You could take a look and just get a feel for college life before you get the chance to come in and meet Lee and Sam and have your tour. And as I said, there's another email address there, hereto help@eastcoast.ac.uk. If you didn't get Sam's email address earlier, then that one works equally as well. You can send an email through to there, and then a member of the team will pass that on to Sam and Lee, and then they will get back in touch with you directly. So thanks again for joining us. We hope you found that useful, and we hope to welcome you all to our college very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Bye-bye.